Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be back here with you again. So the story of today is trying to get everything set up just perfectly for the Hexagon challenge. And we have a little bit of a problem, as you know, and as I told you yesterday, Dave, the editor, who is the person who creates the Around the World or Around the Globe Mega Pack, has not yet finished it up. We're still waiting on him to finish up the mostly the Caribbean nations. There are alternatives, and I've used the recommendations from Dave INCID. But the problem that we have, I'll show you here when we open up Football Manager, the problem that we have is that not all of them are updated to the newest version of the game, which means that you kind of have to go into the pregame editor yourself to get that done. It's not really that much of a pain. It's actually pretty simple, but it's kind of pain. It takes time is the problem, and you have to go through all of them. There are about, I don't know, 30 or so files that you have to get done. So I'll show you right here as we open up Football Manager what this looks like before this happens. This is the sort of thing that you see a lot with the game. Honestly, this is one of the reasons why I really recommend waiting until the final version of each year's game has come out before you even buy it and start messing around with this stuff, because you end up with earlier versions of files that are just not compatible. It's not a great system that Sports Interactive has set up, but it's the system that we have, I guess. So you go over here to database and you click on this. It's going to take a while because we have a lot of files loaded, 218 in all. You can see there are a lot of these that will come up just fine, perfectly fine and normal. Those you can load. But these ones here that have this little thing says that the data file needs to be tested and verified in the editor before it can be used with this database. And we definitely want the latest database of the game. And you'll see there are all of these are countries: Antigua and Barbuda, Bahamas, Barbados, Bermuda, and stuff like that. These are all countries that are in the Caribbean that we don't have updates for from Dave, the editor. And so what we do with this is we have to go back here. So I have my normal editor data file folder there. This is the special one. Remember, on Linux, we have two different editor data file folder locations because the editor is installed into a different wine wrapper than the actual game. That's the special way that Proton works. And so here we go back to the editor and we open this thing up. Here is the ugly editor. I apologize in advance for the fact that you can't read anything. I can barely read it. It is so small and there's no way to change the resolution of the screen. So yeah, good job. That's now you're playing with power. So what we do up here is we load the editor data file that we want. Let's say we want to look at, I don't know, ATG. We haven't done that. I can't even remember what this country is. Anyway, so we load it up here. We have this thing ready. Oh, Antigua and Barbuda. Great. And all we have to do is go over here to rules and click on test rules. And the current nation rules are valid. Great. There you have it. The current nation rules are valid. And then we are going to save the editor data. Editor data file saved. And then we'll go to file and exit. Now we've exited out of that. So this is the one that we did. We copy this and we paste it over here. We're going to replace the file with the file that we just modified. And then we will go here into Football Manager itself. We'll launch this again and we'll see what we get out of this. So let's see what happens. There the game goes. It finally launched. And it'll take a second for this to load up. If all works well, the way that I think it will work, then as soon as we open this up, we will see that that file will be able to be used. And once that file is able to be used, then of course what that means for us is that we can go on to the next country. I mean, we could simply just go through all the countries in order and just go one by one, but I wanted to slow this down a little bit just to show you sort of what's involved in getting this set up the right way. Like I said, it really is kind of a pain in the neck. It takes time and it's not much fun. And this is time that you could spend doing like 1,000 other things than this. And when we go down here to, where are you? Antigua and Barbuda, there it is, ATG 23. We can see that it does show up now as verified yes with all of the database changes. So that's basically the way that you do it. That's the way that you make sure that these changes to the database are set up correctly for the latest version of Football Manager. As I said, it would be a lot easier if everything were updated and if everything were working perfectly right. It's not, and it's kind of a shame, right? It's a shame that we have to go through and get all of this done. It's going to take a little while, and you saw how fast that took. I mean, for me to do it all, given how fast the editor is, it'd probably take like 30 minutes or something like that. That's not that bad, but it is kind of a pain to go through and have to do it. I do wish that people would hold off a little bit until they come out with these big editor data file updates and all this stuff, because I mean, really the best way to play the game and when it is the most fun is once things have been updated and all the bugs have been worked out. We'll talk about this later, right? But when it comes to the hype around the newest version of the game every year, I'm not really part of it because I mean, there's always problems, right? And it's better for us to work with things like people who want to be the first ones to test it out. And then when you really want to start up your save, use a version of the game that actually has been tested and that is balanced and that's not going to totally screw up on you. At least that's sort of what my opinion is. Anyway, though, there you go. That's what you do, and that's how you get yourself set up for all the fun that's to come. And I'll see you tomorrow with a little bit more. Talk to you then. Bye.